Then once you've shown them the product and how it works, then, and their questions are answered, then you go to what we call the fourth step, which is the ask step. And the reason we call it the ask step is because you ask questions during this step that help to understand if the prospect is interested or not interested. It also is a time you get a chance to ask them if they want to buy it or not. The first part about the ask step is that how people understand the price of the tunsai, the cost. Because if they understand the value of that, of the tunsai and what it can mean to them, just in terms of cleaning water very cost effectively, it can go a long way in causing them to want to buy it. So we want to talk about how valuable it is, and in other words, how cost effective it actually is, and for you to have a very clear picture in this, okay? And it's not that you're going to go into this much detail with a customer, but for some customers you might, okay? But we want you to understand it so you can see what a tremendous value it is. Yeah. We were hearing from Sari just a couple of days ago about the cost of boiling water using charcoal here in Cambodia, here in Phnom Penh, and going through a bag of, was it 50 kilograms in 1 month? In 1 month. 50 kilogram bag in 1 month, costing 50,000 real, basically. Yeah. And the length of time it takes to boil water, and all of the building the fire, and then getting the water to boil, and then letting it cool, and all of that time, it takes a lot of time. Okay? The ask step is the moment when you begin to bring the sales conversation to a close. I'm saying, okay, I've shown you the tunsai, do you want to buy it? You don't want to say that, because people make decisions. That is a pretty large decision you're asking somebody to make, boom, just like that. So instead what we do is we lead people through a series of smaller decisions that lead to the bigger decision. So an example of that might be, let's say you're over here on this page of the tunsai. This is the last page of the educate step, right? You might say at this point, because you're talking about the importance of hygiene and having your water kept in a sanitary manner and dispensed in a sanitary manner, clean. So I might say something like this. You know, I was over talking to Peng, and he said to me that he used to take the glass and just scoop it out, you know, and drink it. But then he realized after we visited that he was doing things that made the water potentially dirty. And so what he appreciated about this was that it was a sanitary way of keeping the water so he could keep his family safe. So in other words, I've used the name of one of his neighbors who bought from me a real story about him used to scoop the water out and drink it, you see? I'm telling the story about that and tying it to a benefit of the tunsai. So then I would say, after that story, then I would say, now, when you think about it, that makes an awful lot of sense, doesn't it? You see? And if I were showing this to you as like, let's say I were the salesperson and you were the customer, I would say that to you, and you would respond by going, well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's called a question of agreement. It's an agreement question. It's a yes question. It's a question that you say yes to, and you agree to it. And I'm listening to how you respond to me asking that question. Because what I'm doing is I'm testing your interest in it, in the product, by asking you that question. So if you respond by going, you know, that tells me a lot about your interest. But if you respond going, oh yeah. You see, that tells me a lot about your interest, doesn't it? It's a big difference between going, oh yeah, and this next page, which is the first step of the ask stage, okay, is completely designed to test the interest of the prospect in your product. So instead of just coming out and saying, well, do you like it? Do you want to buy it? I wouldn't say that. What I would say is there are 3 major advantages of our product. One is that it does this, and one of it does this, and one of it does that. I can't read that, by the way, so I don't know what it said. But it's like there are 3 advantages to the product. Which one of these 3 is the one that you like the most. And so then you choose. You go, I like all of them, but I guess that one is the one I like the most. And so let's say you choose that one, and I'll say, oh, okay. Well, why is it that you like that? Why is it that you like that? And then I let you talk and tell me. And then I might say to you, well, what advantage would that give you if you were able to? And so I say, which one does he like the most? That one. Why is it he likes that one the most? He tells me. And I say, how would you feel knowing that you would? And then I would repeat back whatever his answer was to why. And what it does, you see, is it helps me understand how interested you are. And then secondly, it helps you to focus on what you like about the product. And what that does is you're listening to yourself talk. And then you start hearing yourself give good reasons of why you like it, and it helps you want it even more. It helps to motivate you to make a decision of, okay, I guess we're going to get this. So then what I'm going to do is at this point, then I go to the second page of the ask step. So that's the first page. That action of beginning to write on the order pad will bring the conversation to a point of decision. Okay? It brings the conversation to a point of a decision. And it's either a decision of yes, or it's a decision of, well, I have a problem here. Or I'm not sure, or I need to think about it, or I need to ask my husband, or I have another question. You see? But what you're doing is, by doing that, you're bringing it to a point of decision. And it moves the conversation to a close. And by asking a person about what their address is, it's closing on a little point. It's a little decision. You see? Adding up with all of the other little decisions that they've made along the way.